Hey guys,
How's it going, everyone?
welcome.
Welcome. Happy Tuesday.
Yeah, and happy April. Woo!
Hopefully the
This is
weather
gonna be
is better for you like it is for us. It is so beautiful here. I'm staring outside. It looks so gorgeous out there. I've seen some of the comments, people checking in with some good weather where they are.
nice. Oh, well, it looks like Julie Morris though she's got 40 to 50, 40
Oh,
to
sorry,
45.
Julie. Oh,
Yeah,
well,
not to rub it in, we're at 64 right now. It is beautiful. The sun is out. Uh, Last week was just it was pouring down rain and freezing cold like all last week. So it was kind of a rough week, but our garden got a lot of water. So everything is just happy and doing great out there. Looks like, yeah, we got snow.
man. Well, welcome to our live stream. If you are new to our channel, we do this every Tuesday. Carrie and I are the app creators behind the Seed to Spoon app. Along with some of our best friends, we created the app to help manage our gardens, and and we hang out with you guys every Tuesday and have a topic that we talk about and answer your questions. And at the end of the live stream, someone wins a 1 year free subscription to our Seed to Spoon app, which gives you unlimited access to all the features. You're able to log everything in your garden, ask as many questions of GrowBot as you want, and you get free shipping on every order that you place through the app. So today we are talking about growing food in April and what you need to do in your garden this month and different pests you're going to be potentially encountering this month and different things you could be growing and just different things you need to be thinking about, and we'll answer your questions along the way. So before we get into it, we need to first announce a winner from last week, because part of this as well is we have a giveaway for the people that are watching it live. So if you're here with us live, you have a chance to win right here, right now. And if you're watching this after the fact, after it goes to YouTube, you can leave a comment, and then you'll be entered to win the giveaway that we do at the beginning of next week's live stream, which is what we're about to do right now. So Carrie, do you have a winner from last week's live stream?
I do, and I thought it was kind of funny too. So this was the lucky winner from last week. And I thought it was funny because she was actually asking about a premium feature of the app too. So um, they were asking how to add a photo to Growbot to identify a plant. So with the free version of the app, you could ask as many. You could ask 3 questions per day, but these are text questions. So the premium version, you can send photos for identification of a plant, of a pest, or if your plant is struggling, things like that. So congratulations! Now this feature is going to show for you. So woo!
Awesome.
And all you need to do is just send us an email at info@seedtospoon.net. It's right there at the very bottom, and I'll get you all set up.
And if you don't have our app already, we're going to be showing it throughout the live stream. So I've got it here that we can show. There's a QR code up in the very top left that you can scan with your phone. That'll take you to our website where you can find the download links for either iOS or Android. We also have a web app available. We are using it to track our own garden. So what you see right here is our garden. So we'll be going through and showing this as we go through and talk about some of the stuff that we're doing as well.
Ooh, I love this. I had to pop this up. Looks like I've used Growbot to identify cut flowers from a bouquet. I love that. Yeah, that's really cool. Worked well. Said that's cool.
All
Yeah, that
right.
sounds like something I would totally do.
Well, let's jump in and talk about what we are doing in our garden in April. And the stuff we're talking about is pretty universal. Meaning, this what we're talking about is going to be applicable pretty much across the country. Obviously, some of the things that we're talking about, like we're going to talk a little bit about tomatoes and what we're doing, and we're starting to move them outside at the end of April. But if you're in the north, you may still be a little bit behind that. But especially with these cool season crops we're going to talk about, a lot of these things are applicable pretty much across the country.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of these tasks as well too. If you can't get out in the garden right now because there's snow, hopefully soon you will be able to. Because one of the big things that we're doing before we go out and plant this month is we're going through and just making sure that all of our beds are ready. So making sure that they have plenty of compost. So every at least once a year, we go through and add some fresh compost into our beds just to get them to the top as well too, but we want to just give them some fresh life, just give them an extra boost for the new plants and the new seeds and all of that that we're going to be growing in there. So we're going through and mixing in a bunch of new compost into our beds. Um, and then, as well as that, anything that we are planting out, we are making sure that we're doing a layer of mulch. So, mulch helps in so many different ways. It helps if it is too cold, it helps if it's too hot. So, really, pretty much wherever you're at, mulch is going to be beneficial because it's just going to regulate the temperature rate for you. So, you want to make sure that it's going to help, again, insulate the temperature of the roots of the plant as well as regulate water, so you won't necessarily have to water quite as much. Um, Weed suppression, all of that. I mean, so many benefits to having mulch in your gardens. Like I can't stress that enough.
Another big thing that we're doing in April as well involves indoor seed starting. So I'm going to go full screen on Carrie's camera so y'all can see where she is right now. She's out in our garage where we've been spending a lot of time, where we have a lot of seeds that we have started. In the past, we've started a lot of our own vegetables, especially like broccoli and tomatoes and peppers and cabbage. We're starting all of those indoors. But in the past couple of years, we've really ramped up how many flowers we're starting indoors. And a lot of what you're seeing behind you, behind Carrie, is our flowers that we're going to be growing, whether it's petunias or zinnias. We've got marigolds. We've also got some strawberry transplants
Calendula.
out of our garden back behind Carrie's right shoulder. And we've got microgreens back there. We've got a lot of stuff going indoors right now. So that's a big part of what we're doing. So if you are in the north and you still have snow on the ground, like some of y'all in the chat have mentioned, you know, there may be opportunity for you to start. There's definitely opportunity for you to start things indoors and to get a jump start on the season, which is what we're trying to do. That way, once we get into the point where we're able to put all these tomatoes and peppers outside, we're able to get fruit from them way faster than if we were waiting until the end of April to start these tomatoes. So those are the main tasks that we're doing in April outside of just kind of what we're planting. And there's plenty that we can be planting. So let's
We
jump in.
did we did get a lot of questions about mulching here real quick. Let me pop
Okay.
up a few of them. So there was actually several questions about how thick of a layer of mulch to use for plants. I saw several people ask this, so I wanted to make sure that we talked a little bit about that. Um, Typically, when I'm going out, I'm not like measuring it. I don't know, Dale, am I like, I feel like that's kind of overcomplicating it for me. I just pop some mulch on there.
We're pretty much throwing a handful down on the ground and not spreading it a whole lot. That's the best measurement I can give you, is we're taking a handful of mulch and we're kind of throwing it down at the base of the plant, and we're not spreading it around to be thin. So it's probably going to be like an inch or two of mulch. And we're basically just taking handfuls and just throwing them all around the bed until the bed is filled up. Now, if the bed's empty, then I'm just dumping like a whole wheelbarrow in and just spreading it out to be like a few inches. But generally, we're not really mulching until we already have the plants in there, just because it makes planting so much easier, especially if we're planting seeds, like the mulch gets in the way. So it's kind of the last thing we do. And it's after we already have transplants in there. So we're just taking handfuls of mulch, throwing them around the plants, and then till it's an inch or two, and that's really all there is to it. Now, depending on where you are, like if you get way colder temperatures than we do, you may need to do more than that, but it's generally pretty mild here in the winter. We'll just get cold patches of a week or two.
Yeah. And then we did get a few questions about compost as well. If we make our own, get some store bought, all of that. I'd say it's kind of a mixture, honestly, for us. So whenever we first built our raised beds, like we needed a whole bunch of it because we were filling, like we just did this all last year where because we just moved out here and we, I mean, gosh, we needed a lot. So we had to order some. And but typically, for the most part, we do try to do our own compost because we have a bunch of animals. I actually just posted a video this weekend showing us cleaning out our bunny cage and using it directly into one of our gardens that we have. But we can do so many things like that. We have a worm bin as well. Behind me, I don't think you guys can see it, but we do have a worm bin back here too that we use some of their droppings into the compost as well, especially for seed starting.
Yeah, and we have bought compost in the past. I do recommend if you're going to be buying compost or bringing it in from the outside, you test it first because we have been burned in the past by compost that had herbicide in it, basically. The prevalence of herbicide, especially if, like we're in Oklahoma, there's a lot of farms around here that are spraying their fields, and a lot of the compost is being made from like whether it's the horses that graze in those fields is what bit us. So there's just a lot of opportunity for things to go wrong here in Oklahoma because of all the herbicides that are used in a lot of the agriculture production. So I'm really careful with any compost we bring in. I found a source. If you're in Oklahoma City, check out Minnick Materials. That's who I've used. I've bought from them personally for years, and they've always been really fair, and their compost has always been really good. And I just basically drive my truck up there, and they have a tractor, and they load it, and I bring it back home. Now, I generally do like age it for a while before I use it anyway, just because I'm typically buying it like a lot of the beginning of the season to have for the whole season, and I'll pull from it as I need it. If you're starting a big garden, I do recommend going that route because if you're going to make it yourself, you're looking at a minimum of 4 to 6 months to be able to make your own compost and have it. And if you're going to make a lot of compost, that's going to take a ton of material and equipment to be able to make all of that. Like if you have a tractor, you could probably pull it off. I'm talking if you want to build a really big garden. If you're on the smaller scale, then you could get away with something like just having like a backyard compost bin or a worm bin for like maintaining your garden. But if you're going to be
This
building
is
the
a
so
Yeah, this is a picture of our compost bin that we used to have. I mean, and this was super simple. Dale rigged this together with like some pallets that we recycled and just kept turning over, and having fresh compost. So it worked out good.
it did. I will say I'm very thankful that I'm able to use a tractor to move that now because man, taking everything out of that and moving it from bin to bin is probably part of why my back hurts so much now at 40. I was doing that at 29, but um, you know, but anyway, it worked when I lived in the city. But now, like, those are the downsides of those kind of systems like that. Is just it's going to be a good workout, but it's also going to hurt your back potentially long term. I'm paying for it now. Um, so I really like the worm bin. Like if you're looking to get into the compost game and you want to start being more productive about making your own compost, I highly recommend starting with worms. It's going to be the easiest way to do it. It's going to be the least amount of mess, believe it or not, because the worms are going to do all the gross stuff for you. You just keep a
Mhm.
bucket going of food, and then you take it out to your worm bin, you dump it in there, and you cover it with dirt, and the worms will handle the rest. And what you get out of like the process when it's done is just perfect looking black rich soil looking stuff that is just straight up worm castings. It is amazing fertilizer for your plants. It has growth hormones for plants built into it. Like the system is designed for worms to work with plants. It's kind of how this whole earth thing works. So it works really well if you just rely on the worms. That's what I found to be the easiest way. Um, and that's what I do for the bulk of what I consider like the what I used to call like I used to think about when I was making my own fertilizer that I was making compost, but now I don't even bother with making compost. I just make worm castings, and then I'll outsource the compost if I'm building a new bed, just because I don't want to go through the trouble of having to build a whole lot. So that's a whole lot about compost and mulching, but there were a lot of questions around it, so hopefully that helps.
Well, and then we did get a question too, a few different ones about this too. So, like, what
Yeah,
type of mulch is best in the
yeah. Please
beds?
don't buy the best. Please don't buy mulch from the store. There's three places within 15 minutes of me that I can drive my truck to and get wood chips for either free or for like $10. And they're all just city or county composting facilities where they also take in down limbs and things like that from around the community and they run them through a chipper. And I've gotten those for years. And that's what I use for mulch. So I recommend doing that. Or if you are going to get mulch, like for some of our gardens, I have splurged, if you will, and we've bought wood chips from a local supplier that has like what's called playground mulch, where it's these wood chips that are already run through something to like knock the edges off because we want to be able to walk barefoot through there. But even that was like $75 for an entire trailer load. Very cheap compared to going to the store. And you definitely don't want to have the wood chips that are dyed or have any of that stuff. Like you just want like you want something that was a tree and then got ran through a chipper. That's what you want. You don't want anything added to it besides that.
Okay. Yeah, we had a lot of questions. So, I mean, if you guys have any other
One more thing
questions,
on
feel
mulch.
free to.
Sorry, I gotta say one more
Yeah.
thing on mulch. The absolute best mulch to get is cedar. If you can get access to cedar mulch, that's the best because it will help with pest prevention because bugs do not like cedar. So that's why cedar wood and raised beds last longer than other wooden raised beds. Pests just don't like them. So if you have cedar wood chips, like that's if you want the ultimate like in wood chips, get cedar. And chip drop is also a good option as well. We've done that a couple of times. It's been hard to get deliveries where we are here, but when we've gotten it, it's been awesome. And you will get a giant mound of wood chips. Uh,
Yes. Yeah, we got
yeah,
it whenever we lived in the city. We came home to a chip drop one time, and we were like, "Oh my!" It was just this mountain. We're
it's like
like,
the size of two cars. It's basically our
"Yeah,
driveway, like two cars of wood chips. And I was like, well, I know what I'm doing for the next week.
yep."
And
It was
move.
fun. The kids loved it too. Like they have their own little wheelbarrow that they were going through and collecting it and pushing it back. Yeah, it was really fun.
The HOA, I don't think didn't love it, but I was fast. We got it
Well,
all cleared out in like a week. So
yeah,
it was a good workout. Again, things when I
always
did
is.
when I was like 29, not 40.
Oh, you could still do it now.
Yeah, I could. I probably should. It'd be good for me. Okay. So next slide is what to plant. And we're not going to spend a ton of time here. I'm just going to show that in the app, we make this very easy for you by having several sections that show you what you can plant based on where you live. So if you go into the app, at the very top here is the dashboard. And like I'm set for California in the simulator here. So ignore all the dates. This is like my development device. But if you go down to Let's Grow, this is going to show you what you can grow based on where you are. This calendar also shows you. And then if you go into see all plants, you can come in here and you can filter this as well by plant now. So those are several ways to see what you can grow right now. And we're going to talk about several of the things next, but I just wanted to show how you can see in the app, no matter where you are, we calculate all of this based on your nearest weather station and then use that in combination with the plant data to calculate what you can grow and all of that. So
So we wanted to talk a few of the cooler season crops first, and then we have some of the warmer season after this too. But here's just a few of the like my favorites that I had to pull out too, because who doesn't love to grow potatoes? This is probably one of the simplest things for me, at least, that really makes an impact in the kitchen. Because I can just go out there. I always grow these potatoes inside these large smart pots. So if you haven't heard of the smart pots, these are like fabric containers. So I fill up like a large one, maybe like a 20-gallon, and I fill it up halfway and then pop like 4 to 5 tomato or potatoes in there. And then I let it be. Whenever it starts growing, I'll start adding some more compost and soil on top of that and just let it do its thing, really. And then whenever we go to harvest them, we just dump them out and have an Easter egg hunt for the potatoes. It's absolutely incredible. It is by far the easiest way to grow potatoes, and this makes such a huge impact in the kitchen because we eat a lot of potatoes between us and the kids. So it is definitely something that I'd recommend if you haven't ever grown them before too.
Yes, potatoes are one of those things that you get a lot of bang for your buck too. Like,
Mhm.
and you're pretty much always going to have potatoes because you're like, at least we always end up leaving fragments of potatoes, and it ends up.
Yes,
So potatoes, I definitely recommend checking those out. There's also a lot of really cool varieties you can grow. Like we found the favorite our favorite varieties are more of the fingerling potatoes that are like small little like baby potatoes
those
almost.
taste so good.
They're so buttery. Like we like
Yes.
them so much better than growing like the really large potatoes. So there's also different types of purple potatoes and
I
things
was
like
just
that.
about to say the purple potatoes are the best too. They're just so much fun. And how cool is it to have purple mashed potatoes? The kids think it is the coolest thing ever. They love it so much. And I do, of course, but I'm just a kid at heart, I guess. Um, but so we got a question about what size smart pot. I mean, really, you can do it at any size. We like to grow them in like the larger, like the 15 or 20-gallon size, and then we get a lot of potatoes in there. And then it's still small enough to where we can dump it out, but it's not too small that we don't get a large harvest. So I always found that that was like the perfect size for us, at least.
Yeah. Now, if it is difficult for you to lift like a larger smart pot, you might want to go with a smaller one just to make harvesting easier because it is like pretty heavy to lift those like 15 to 20-gallon ones and dump them into a cart. Like it takes both Carrie and I like lifting. And again, probably why my back is hurting so much lately. Uh, I need to be smarter about it. But um, the 5-gallon ones are much better for that.
Okay, and then strawberries. I know, I feel like every time I mention anything about strawberries, everybody gets really excited. I mean, me too. And we have so many strawberries back here too that I still need to transplant out. But strawberries are definitely something that you can be looking at planting out now, whether it's bare root or if you're taking transplants out. It's still a good time here for us, at least. We're still going to be moving them out. Hopefully, wherever you are, you can still sneak in some strawberries. And we also did here, we planted out, I wish I got a picture. Every week I say this, but we planted out one of these. So this is a green stalk tower, but we planted out one of these full of strawberries, and it is just nothing but strawberries. So this one right here is just inside of our sunroom. So even if the weather isn't great where you are, maybe that might be an option, is to still be able to grow some strawberries.
The cool thing about strawberries, it's one of those plants that once you buy, there's a comment up on the screen.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. There you go.
um, okay. So one of the cool things about strawberries is once you plant them once, you pretty much have them forever because they're going to create so many more on their own. I'm going to go full screen on Carrie again so y'all can see back behind her. It's kind of you can't reach them, but back behind Carrie's like right shoulder, there's a whole bunch of strawberries. Can you reach them? Is that too far away?
I can't reach all of them, but I can grab.
Cool, that'll work. So this is an example of one strawberry that had climbed its way out of the raised bed over into the mulch and was just growing in the mulch. And we went through and we spent probably 30 minutes one day going through and cutting all of them out and then transplanting them into these little pots here. And now and we also filled up the entire green stalk just from transplants from that raised bed. So that's one of the great things about strawberries is once you plant them, you're pretty much going to have them forever because they're going to take over. You're going to have to manage them anyway. So this also is a great opportunity for giving out strawberries to other people. I know Evan has had his eye on our strawberries. We're going to be giving him some strawberries. He's going to come over and get some. Evan from Smart Pots. He's in the chat. Say hi to Evan, everyone. So we do a lot of content with those guys over at Smart Pots also. So strawberries also are one of those things that if you haven't tasted a strawberry fresh out of the garden, you have not had a strawberry before because they are just they taste so much different whenever you have them fresh right out of the garden. Like once they sit, even like if you harvest out of the garden and let it sit for a couple days, it just isn't quite the same. It's one of those kind of
Yeah, it definitely, I always tell Dale too, I'm like, it tastes like it is rolled in sugar because it really does. Like that's how I used to eat them as a kid when they were store bought. I would roll them in sugar and I'm like, it doesn't need any of that. Like it is so good. Oh, it's amazing.
yeah, it's usually a fight through the family for who's going to get the strawberries. We're all out there
It
trying to
really
get
is.
they never really make it indoors. So this year,
Hopefully
I
this
think
year, yeah,
we're
because
gonna have
we have
so
so
many.
many.
Yeah, I'm really excited about our strawberry situation.
We did get a couple questions on strawberries. So how much water do you give your strawberries? Um, I
We
mean,
haven't really had to give them much supplemental water here where we
yeah.
are. Like, there's been enough rain where they've been fine. The so I mean, that depends on where you are. I mean, in the springtime, I'm really not watering like supplemental more than twice a week, even if we're not getting rain because just the temperatures aren't enough. But like as usual for us, it just comes down to you put your finger in the soil, and if it's dry, like down 2 or 3 inches, then water, and if not, then don't water. And we only water like really deeply so that it basically mimics like a really full rain. So that's how we've handled watering, and it's always gone pretty well for us.
Any suggestions on how to prevent them from spreading too much? Like if you have limited space.
You have to cut the runners, so you'll see that strawberries, when they start to spread, they will have these little. Do you have any runners you can show over there that's coming off of any
I
of that?
don't, but I mean, you can kind of see like this was a
Yeah,
runner. This
so
is where
they'll
it
have
came
these
from.
little like vine looking things that offshoot and start searching, and you just cut those, and that'll limit them spreading. It's going to be a full time job though. You're going to have to be out there every week at a minimum cutting runners. So that's what I recommend. Or just kind of what we do is let the runners go ahead and propagate and root, and then we cut them and move them somewhere else. So um, we've accidentally become strawberry farmers.
It's a good problem to have.
Carrie and I were joking, like if we ever decide to become farmers, I think strawberries should be one of the things we farm because we're really good at growing a whole bunch of accidental strawberries. Strawberries and basil. We could be the ultimate strawberry basil farms. So yeah.
Okay, next. So root crops. I am still sneaking in root crops out there because I feel like I'm always late. I feel like no matter how on time I try to be, I will do some on time or early, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't do enough, and then I'm always sneaking extra rounds in. But I feel like that's okay because now I'm doing succession planting.
Yeah,
So
especially things like carrots, like you don't have to grow them full size because like once it gets summer, like they'll start just getting a little bitter and we don't really like them. Like we don't like summer carrots as
mhm.
much as we do fall carrots. Um, but also like growing carrots around tomatoes or other plants that are going to shade them out once it does start to get a little warmer is another strategy for carrots as well. Radish is another root crop that's way faster. So you're looking at like 30 days, like 21 to 30 days on harvesting radish. So if you want to sneak in a root crop and maybe for like in Texas or somewhere that's going to get hot here pretty quick and you don't have a ton of time for carrots, that'd be something to sneak in. Um, Shout out also to turnips. I don't know. I don't think you have it coming up later, but as we're talking about root crops, just turnips are something else that we really like that has similar flavor to potato for us. Um, really like growing turnips. So just root crops in general are something great to grow in the spring. If you're in the north, and now's the perfect time to start them. I do recommend seed tape if you're going to grow root crops. It makes it so much easier. Here is an example. So this is what the seed tape looks like. You can see it's just like little, I mean, kind of like toilet paper basically into strips, and you can just roll it out on the soil, water it in, and that all disintegrates, and then the seeds are all spaced accordingly. Um, I don't have the patience to plant carrots otherwise. The seeds are so tiny. I'm always dropping one. My OCD doesn't like it that I've got. It's just like the thinning. Like I hate thinning. I generally have not liked planting carrots until seed tape. And now it's the only way I will be involved in carrot planting because it stresses me out otherwise. Carrie can vouch for it. I'm not involved in carrot planting.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. If it's seeds that I have to do, like if I'm doing dragon carrots, those are ones that I love dragon carrots because they're like this purpley, like red color. I really like them, but they don't come in seed tape. So those are ones that I have to plant myself.
Yeah. I can't handle the tiny seeds. They stress me out. So I
Yeah, they
just,
are very small, and I always drop more than needed in there, and so I have to go in and thin them down because if you don't thin them down, then the carrots themselves like they grow intermix each other. I'm sure you all have seen pictures of like those carrots like all together. Like that's what happens if you have too many in a hole. And then of course greens. I mean, lettuce, spinach, kale, Swiss chard, all of those. I mean, spring is the perfect time to grow all of these. If you are, I mean, still too cold to plant them outdoors, you can get them started indoors too, because you can transplant them out. There's so many amazing varieties and tastes and colors, and it's so amazing. Oh, you put my favorite one up.
she's been eating this variety every single day for like
Yes,
3 weeks now. We have it in our sunroom. We have a little garden out there in our sunroom with some grow lights, and we try to have lettuce year round. We'll see if we can get it to survive in the summer, but we had lettuce all winter, and it was this variety here, and she has been loving it. Every
it's
single day, I see her
amazing.
out there harvesting it, and we get so much off of it. I mean, just those like it's 3 square feet maybe inside of that raised bed, and we've had more than enough for us to have salads every day off of it. Um, so that's an awesome variety. This Butterhead blend that I popped up is another really good mix. Um, and then also, I really like mustard. And if you like mustard, then I highly recommend growing mustard greens and replacing that on like your burger or your sandwich. It's probably my one of my favorite greens, and then obviously spinach is one of my favorites as well. So you can't really go wrong with any variety of spinach. Um, one way I want to mention too that we like to grow. One reason we like to grow a lot of greens, it's not just for like chopping up the greens and putting them in a salad or a wrap. We also use them a lot as a container for food, like as a tortilla replacement. So, especially some of the spinach varieties, we'll basically just use that as a tortilla and stuff it full of rice and chicken and herbs and tomatoes or whatever we want to kind of mix in there, and then just eat that, and it's awesome. So it's another way we like to grow, or another reason we like to grow these greens as well. And a cool thing about lettuce is you can get multiple harvests off of it. So typically you can get at least 2 or 3 cuts off of it before it's done. And then once it starts to get hot, it's kind of too late anyway. But it's one of those things. It's a lot. It's a lot of bang for your buck. So you're going to get a lot of value off of growing lettuce as opposed to buying it from the store. If you're looking to grow food to save money, this is one of the things I recommend starting with. It's also way more convenient. We eat way healthier whenever we grow lettuce because it's always available. Whenever we have to buy it from
Mhm.
the store, that lettuce really is only good for like 2 or 3 days before I'm not really excited to eat it, and then I just end up not eating it. It becomes rabbit
Yeah,
food.
and even then it doesn't taste, it doesn't have any flavor. It just tastes like I'm eating nothing almost if I try
Hmm.
it from the store. And whereas I noticed like the different varieties of lettuce that we grow taste different. Like it's very good.
Yeah. It looks like this is one of our varieties that's on sale right now too. It's Sandy. So
Nice.
you better buy a
Yeah.
bunch. I hope it's not being
We
discontinued.
we better buy a bunch. Yes. I
Y'all
need a
better hurry.
lot of
Gary's gonna go
sandy.
buy it out. He's gonna ask me to
I
go check
probably
how
will.
many stock, and it's gonna be gone. Y'all better
Don't
jump
blame me
on
if
it.
it's out of stock.
They have a limited amount of time left before she goes and buys all of it. It's not a marketing ploy. Tomatoes. Okay, so
Okay.
we are not going to think about getting our tomatoes outside till the end of the month. I saw people
Mhm.
planted their tomatoes outside in Oklahoma a few weeks ago when we had that warm stretch, and I was like, "Oh, that's not going to work out well." And last
Yeah,
week
then we just had some freezes over the weekend here.
happens every time here in Oklahoma. We get this fake spring in February, and February is nice, and then we just get walloped. And it's not normally this late, but it is this year. So hopefully, like where I am, I'll start thinking about sneaking some tomatoes out here in a few weeks. Those will be like my Romas that are in smart pots, so I can move those back inside if there's a problem or a cold front coming through. But I'm definitely not putting any tomatoes like in the ground next to a trellis, like next to like the tomatoes that I'm going to be putting up against my cattle panels that are growing over the whole. Those aren't going out for a while because I'm not confident that we're going to be past like it's not just freezes I'm worried about. I don't want temperatures below 50 or below 45 for sure. Even at night, and I'm still seeing like nighttime temperatures that are too cold for that. So um, but I am like doing a lot to prepare for this. So a lot of the plants you see behind Carrie back against the wall are tomatoes. They're on heat mats back
Mhm.
there. Um, we're starting a lot of different rounds. Jackie, we're not growing a ton of like different varieties this year as much as we are just a bunch of the ones that I know that I love.
But
Um,
we still have probably a good 10 different varieties in there though. Because I was in my head thinking, I know you say we're not planting a lot of different varieties. I guess in
yeah,
the past we've done way more,
we went a little
but
wild last year and we tried to
we
grow
are
like two
still,
varieties and
yeah, we are still growing quite a few for those standard people. But yeah, I mean, we
and
don't have a lot of varieties of bush tomatoes. I will say that because we stick with our favorite varieties of bush ones. And then the vining ones, I feel like, because there's always new vining ones that I want to try too. But I for sure am like the pink Whopper Juniors, like those ones. I'm growing every single variety of the Whopper Juniors that they have. There's three different colors of that, and then the Whopper, like the big Whopper, I'm growing, and then the purple Cherokee, of course. Like, yeah,
then
there's just a
also
lot of staples.
there's also a lot of miniature varieties that we're growing a lot of right now. So they're the
Yes.
kitchen mini varieties, and they only get like 2 feet tall. And we've been growing a lot of those indoors, and they're fun. And we're kind of diving in on trying out all the small varieties. Part of what we're wanting to do with that space that's right behind Carrie. Let me show it again. You can see like the smart pots that are behind her. Like Carrie, can you show the purple one? I think you can reach that one. So like the idea was what we're doing here on some of this is like when you go to the grocery store and you buy basil and it's in like a little batch and there's just a whole bunch of basil that's only like a month old that's still alive and it's a little container and you're paying like $15 for that basil typically. That's what I'm trying to grow here. We're calling this little area like our garage grocery store, and that one is like a Thai basil. And each one of these different smart pots is back along the different rows, a different variety of basil or chives or something that I want to use for cooking. And we're basically going to grow it almost like a microgreen and just have it perpetually here. So we just always have different varieties that we're kind of rotating through. Um, so that's kind of what we're doing with some of these tomatoes too. We're going to grow them, kind of just have tomatoes year round in the garage, where we definitely have a lot of stuff that's outside too, but it can be pretty treacherous trying to grow here in Oklahoma. and I would like to have food year round, no matter what. I would like, at least like a part of my food. I would like to know is growing in the garage and no hellstorm. Like it's gonna take a tornado to take my food out, not just a hellstorm, and not just like really strong winds. Um, so so anyway, that's what we're trying with some of our tomatoes that we're doing. But definitely check out the Parks Whopper Pink Mini variety, the Whopper Junior. It was
Yes.
probably the best tasting one that we had last year. I'm seeing if I've got a QR code. I do. It's right here.
Oh,
We
yep.
both look.
I just popped. Yep.
This is the best
Yeah.
tasting tomato we've ever had.
It
Carrie and I both
tasted.
don't like tomatoes really that much, like by themselves. I like tomatoes and salsa. I've never just
Mhm.
eaten a tomato and be like, "Oh, that was good." I've always eaten it and be like, "Yeah, it's kind of. I won't do that again." It
That's a
was a good
tomato.
experience. Yep. These like we would literally just like snack on them. They were
Yeah,
so
I was. I was out there just eating them off of. I'm like, this is so weird. They taste just so good. Yeah, by
yeah.
far my favorite.
And then just for like convenience of tomatoes and like just like we like to have a bunch of tomatoes for salsa and for making our own tomato sauce and all that kind of stuff is just Roma or San Marzano, just some sort of standard determinate tomato that's going to grow into a bush and give me a whole bunch of tomatoes at once. Like that's what I'm looking for in a tomato. Okay, let's jump into our next plant because we have 8 slides to go and we're running out of time. We're both clicking things. Basil. We
I
talked
know.
about basil a little bit already, so I think we don't have to spend a ton of time on basil. It goes really well with tomatoes. It's a companion plant for tomatoes for a reason. It will help prevent pests for one. There's also some studies that have shown that will improve the flavor of tomatoes that are grown nearby. I haven't done that test myself, but it's something I've read in books, and it seems to be pretty prevalent. The point is, tomatoes and basil have gone together on dishes and in growing for a very long time, and there's a lot of good reasons for it. So I highly recommend doing that, and I highly recommend trying a lot of different varieties of basil. We have 4 or 5 different types of basil behind Carrie right now that are growing that we like for different reasons, whether it's lettuce leaf because it has really big leaves that are pretty mild and doesn't have all the flavor concentrated quite as much as like the Genevieve basil is more concentrated. It's way better for pesto. The Thai basil just kind of has more of a unique flavor that Carrie likes with like carrots and sweet potatoes. And the lemon basil pairs better with fish. I could go on and on about basil, and sometimes we do. We do whole hours about herbs, and we'll talk about basil for 15 minutes. But just know there's a whole world of basil.
Yeah, and I last year we didn't plant nearly enough, so this year like I made sure that we had plenty of transplants. So I have two entire flats planted of just basil. Because I'm like, last year we had to buy some. I'm like, never again. It just feels like a waste of money whenever you have to buy transplants, especially for something that's so easy to start from seed, and it just saves so much money to start it by seed. So it's just one of those things. I'm like, I always want to have plenty of basil around.
I saw this and I laughed because I feel the same way. And it's dangerous because when you run out, it's like, well, I have to replenish it. Like I can't just have an empty spot in my binder now.
Yep, yep. And then, yeah, it's the same with marigolds as for basil. Whenever I transplant out a tomato, I always want to have a basil transplant and a marigold transplant because I always put all of those three together, and that's just all the perfect companions together. So yes, I have an entire flat of marigolds going back there as well. There's Whopper marigolds too, which are huge. I kid you not, they're the largest blooms of marigolds I've ever seen. It's like the size of my palm. Like they are huge blooms, absolutely beautiful. I love them. Yes, right there. And they come in the yellow and orange, and I thought they were just incredible last year. I thought they were great, but had to call those ones out. Okay, and then peppers. I know we kind of do very similar companion planting with peppers as we do for tomatoes. So I'm planting them very similarly. I use basil, marigold around them too, nasturtium, calendula, all of those. I do a lot of companion planting with my peppers. But with peppers, we tend to go crazy with the varieties as well. Um, we grow a lot of different varieties of peppers. But Dill popped up this Whopper jalapeno one. This is one that we always grow, and this is probably the one that I grow more of than the others, just because it's one that's a staple for us, and we love having excess of them. They're so easy to preserve at the end of the year, and just do like we do like pickled peppers, and we've frozen them before. Like there's so many ways you can preserve them.
Same thing that I mentioned earlier with tomatoes or peppers, where we do the kitchen minis as well. So here's a variety of peppers you can grow indoors that only get like 2 feet tall. And you can just grow them under grow lights indoors or like in a kitchen window, or that's what we're doing with ours.
So with pepper seedlings, so her pepper seedlings are starting to turn purple, and they're not a purple variety. I know that that's a nutrition imbalance. Which one was it again?
It can be
Was it
either
a
stress response or it can be nutrition. I'm trying to remember what it was. If it was nutrition, I think it was magnesium. Nope, nope. That's yellowing, not purple. Um, Man, it's been so
robot?
many years since I went through. I know. It's been so many years since I went through the Master Gardener program. I can't remember what purple leaves mean. This is where I would turn to Growbot, though.
Yes. Yeah, that's the beauty of always having Growbot at your fingertips. There we
If I
go.
had a picture of it, I could just send a picture, and it would help me. And it's not
Yeah.
a tomato; it's a pepper, isn't it?
Yes, it was a pepper. Try to do it again.
Temperature. That's what I was thinking.
Temperature, nutrient deficiency. So
Phosphorus.
phosphorus. It is phosphorus. Okay.
High five! You got it.
Woo. Yeah. So probably one of those then, depending on again where you are and if they're outside or inside, you may want to evaluate your temperature or maybe get some a spoma fertilizer on it. Maybe I really like the tomato tone. I use that on even my peppers too. It works really well for them too.
And you do get 3 free Growbot questions as a free user. So that is something you can get help with, even if you're not a premium subscriber.
Okay. And then, of course, I had to put in zucchini summer squash because this is like one of my favorite things to grow, even though I have to battle pests sometimes with them. But still, the possibilities are endless with the recipes that you can make for zucchini. And it's one that I had direct sow. So, but I'm going to be direct sowing this after my last spring frost. So hopefully that is or was this past weekend, but we'll see. Um, I might try some here soon, but again, this is one that we is a staple here. We use it all the time. It's great for different recipes, and I have all sorts of different recipes in the app. Dale, do you want to show them in the app where you can find recipes, real quick? Because I know that's something that people always are like they don't realize that we have recipes in there.
So if you go to specific plants, we have it here. Under each plant, we have the recipes that are associated with that plant. And then
That's the only way I know how to get to them.
okay.
I was like, I don't know where else you're looking, but if there's
I,
somewhere else, that's great.
I built another screen a long time ago, but I think it went away, and that's where I kind of paused. I was like, sorry.
But yes, so
I've built a
underneath
lot of
each,
things over the years. I can't remember what
we
else.
have we have done so much and made so many changes, but um, yes. So beans, of course, this is one of our last ones today that we're going to talk about, but um, there's bush beans and pole beans. So if you don't have a lot of space, you can, or trellis space, you can grow still some bush beans. They're really great. You get a lot of bang for your buck. So this is one that I recommend for beginners too, because if they just plant one bean plant, they get so many just from one. So it's one of those that you can, I mean, you can just get a lot of harvest. So it's really great, especially for beginners to have a lot of success. So this is something that's always really fun for everybody. Oh, I lied. There's one more. Zinnias, Dale's favorite. I had to
Seriously.
put this.
Seriously, this is like the ultimate husband hack, y'all. You can get a pack of zinnias for like $4. Take them, spread them out, like just throw them. Literally, you just throw them, and then don't even really have to do much beyond that. And in 50 to 90 days, you're gonna have all these flowers everywhere. You can just go out and cut them, stick them in a vase, hand them to your wife, and she'll be very happy. And that's all you have to do. That's literally all you have to do. And they will just keep giving you flowers over and over until it gets too cold. It's the ultimate summer hack. It's that simple. So fell in love with Venus last year. Every day I would go out there and cut her a bouquet and bring it in, and she was just as excited as the first time, every single
Yes,
time.
yes.
Magical.
Well, and we
I
had
barely
like so many varieties too, so it was really fun to like every time you brought me in flowers, they looked different. So it was really fun.
it's so you don't have to like plan this elaborate date night. You don't have to do any, you just have to throw some seeds and cut them. Like we're overthinking this, guys. You just that's literally all you got to do. I discovered the secret. I cannot be happier with zinnias. And honestly, it's just kind of a zen experience in the summer too, because come August and September here, like a lot of things have died, and there's just a lot of chaos and bugs in the garden, and it's 103 degrees for 20 days in a row, and I can only go outside if it's like first thing in the morning because I get fried.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what it's like here. And the zinnias give me gardening joy in those days because I go out in the morning, I cut all of my zinnias and I bring them inside. I'm like, look at me, I'm a successful gardener. I did good gardening stuff, and it brings me joy in the summer whenever it's really just the okra and the basil that are giving me joy otherwise, and the peppers. But even the peppers are taking time off, and they're not giving any more peppers because it's too hot for them too. So anyway, highly recommend zinnias. There's so many
They're
different
very
varieties.
simple.
They're so easy to grow. I've tried other flowers too, and we'll be growing more, and I like the other ones too. But zinnias are definitely my favorite. They're the easiest ones for bouquets too. Very simple. It's easy to peel the leaves off. There's not a lot you got to deal with. It can. I was tag teaming with our 2-year-old last year, and she was helping me process them all. And so it doesn't take a ton of help. You can have a 2-year-old help you with. Do awesome with it. It's also a great thing to do with your kids too. Like the kids would love going out with me and being my helper and helping me like cut them and peel the leaves off and arrange them and all of that kind of stuff. And our son started taking one to his teacher every day at the end of the school year and all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. So anyway, grow zinnias. And we have a huge selection of them. I did not realize how large of a selection we had until I started looking around at everyone else that has zinnias and all the zinnias we can get. And I was like, wow, we have a lot of varieties. So if you're looking to pick out like all different types, like check out our varieties. You get free shipping through the app as a yearly subscriber. So it's a great way to do it. Um, and definitely look for the ones that are like the um, the Parks picks like are awesome in that they have very long stems that it's easy to like cut them, process them, and get them into a vase because the short ones
They're
are a pain.
very tall.
And it
Yeah.
sucks with the short ones because they're beautiful, but the stems aren't as thick, and then you like end up breaking it, and now it's like, hey, here's a flower for your hair. That's all I can do with it. I can't like, I put
Well, the kids like that though.
true, true. It worked on the 8-year-old. She was very happy to have flowers in her hair, but But it wasn't as good for my bouquet goals. And we had so many bouquets. We bought like 10 vases from Walmart on a delivery order last year, of these
Yep.
like little $2 vases. We just had them everywhere around
He's
the
not
house.
exaggerating, guys. He's
We
not.
went wild. It's just our entire house was just decorated with zinnia stuff everywhere. And then once they like got like like about a week old, then they just became pig food. The pigs loved them. So the zinnias I know everyone doesn't have pigs, but if you have pigs and you're watching
Or
this,
chickens. Chickens
or
would.
chick- okay, we got stuck on zinnias. We got more we got to talk to you.
I
Let's talk
figured.
about the pests. So there's a couple pests you're going to be seeing in April that we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about all of them, but these are the first ones you're going to see. Cabbage worms. So you're going to see holes like this on your broccoli, cabbage, mustard. I hope you don't, and kale also. But more than likely, you're going to start seeing these. They're from little green worms that you'll find on the underside of the leaves. And there's a couple ways to handle them. Number one, you can prevent them altogether by having insect netting over your beds. We have that on our beds that have a lot of brassicas. We have insect netting over them. That helps a lot. Doesn't help 100%, but it makes a big difference. There's also a product you can buy called BTK. It's caterpillar killer, and it is organic. It is a naturally occurring soil bacteria that you can spray on the plants. It's right here, and you can read all about it in the app. If you just search for caterpillar killer, search for caterpillar, it'll come up here, and you can read all about right here. All the information there is all about it, but it's organic. That's another method. I prefer just to prevent them altogether and just use the insect netting. Um, the next pest you're going to be seeing a lot of is aphids. These are another pretty common spring pest, and you'll see there in the middle of the picture is a ladybug. That is the absolute best method for controlling aphids. So you can encourage ladybugs to come to your garden by planting dill and cilantro, fennel as well. All three of those plants are host plants for ladybugs to lay their eggs on, and then the eggs hatch, and that's just where they like to lay their eggs. You can also buy ladybugs. We've bought them on Amazon before. Make sure if you're going to do that, you release them at night so they don't just fly away. Right? They only fly during the day. And if you just release them in the morning, they're just going to fly away. So if you release them at night, they're going to stay there and start eating aphids. Make sure you got water for them too. But those are the main pests you're going to deal with. Again, we have a pest section in the app that has a whole bunch of pests and information about how to handle them. So if I come into here, you can click on critters. That takes you in here. You can also use Growbot to take a picture of a pest and identify it, and it'll help you know what to do with it as well. Okay, we have 3 minutes left, and I'm sure we have some questions we need to get to. Let's go ahead and announce a winner, and then we can circle back and see if there's any questions that we need to answer. If you've asked a question and we haven't answered it and you really want us to, please post it again in the chat, because Carrie and I both have been looking at this camera and not being able to pay attention to the chat as much. Normally, one of us is in the chat. So just let us know if there's something else that you want us to answer. And let's go ahead. And do you have a winner? Did you run
I
the
do.
thing?
I just plugged it in. Yep. So
Okay.
congratulations, Travis
Congratulations, Travis.
Mattingly.
Email us at info@seedtospoon.net, and Carrie will get you set up with your premium app subscription.
Yeah. So now you get free shipping on all of your orders through the app. You get unlimited photos that you can send to Growbot and ask Growbot all sorts of questions. Unlimited visual garden layouts and planting. Yes, lots and lots of things. So
And
congratulations.
And if you did not win, don't forget that once we hit end stream here, it's going to go up to YouTube, and then you can go watch it there, and you can leave a comment. So if you're in the live stream, just go leave a comment over there on the YouTube video, and then you'll be entered to win automatically, and we'll announce it at the beginning of next week, just like we did at the beginning of this one. Okay, so I'm going to start at the bottom with questions because, again, I haven't been able to keep up. So I'm going to start at the bottom, and then Carrie, if you want to start looking, and we'll just start pulling up what we've got here, and we'll hang out as long as we can.
Here's one from Ashley. So, can you still plant tomatoes indoors in OKC for going outside later? Um, I say absolutely go for it. I know it's a little bit late, but I was still planting them up until like last week because there was specific varieties that I didn't have in yet. I mean, you may just have a little bit later harvest, but you can always do like one of the early girl ones or something like that that'll give you a faster harvest. So yeah. Okay, we have another one from Cassandra. I planted some peppers on January 15th. They're only like a half an inch tall, not growing very fast. Um, well, that's quite a while ago. What do you think about this one, Dale?
First thing that comes to mind is temperature. So,
Yeah.
what is the temperature where they're growing? And if you're using a heat mat, I would try and get the temperature of them between 75 and 85 if you could. um, that's the first thing that
I
comes to mind. Also, just seeds, or how are they old seeds? Where do the seeds come from? Are they all from the same pack? It could be an issue, with something like that. Um,
I'm wondering too how like if they maybe are struggling from like damping off or something, if they're like the soil's too moist or something, because sometimes they'll grow to a specific size and then just kind of
mhm.
stop because they're just too like soggy, wet soil. So maybe take a look at that too.
Yeah, it could be that as well. And if they have two sets of true leaves, it is time to hit those with some fertilizer. Even if they're little, it's still time to start fertilizing them
Hmm.
whenever they're indoors. Once they have two sets of true leaves, so that's another thing. If you send a picture to Growbot, it should be able to help you as well. Um, if it doesn't, send a picture to us. We'll help you out. We'll figure out why Growbot didn't help you.
Let's see. I don't know this answer, but so Patty says I've lost three of my cucumbers where the stem meets the soil turn thin and white.
So that feels like some sort of like damping off type issue. Off the top of my head, is what that sounds like.
Yeah, that might be another good question for Growbot. Um, okay. Holes in oh, it sounds like we're dealing with some fruit worms or something here too. Yeah, my guess is there are these fruit worms. I don't know if we can pull it up in the app. Um, I wish I could control the app. I'm sorry.
I can't. So go to the app, and then
Fruit
fruit.
worms.
It's
Yeah.
going to be that same BT
So
spray. Pretty much all worms are going to be controlled through that BT spray.
yeah, and we'll do a we're gonna do a stream very soon all about pests and pest management and all of that here too, very soon. So we'll be going over a lot of different pests and issues that you might see. Hopefully not, but
And we do have another live stream on Thursdays that is mostly focused on answering your questions. So our live streams on Tuesdays are like today's, where we have a topic and we're going to go over, and we've um, put a lot of thought into exactly what we're going to talk about. And on Thursdays, it's more freeform, where we're just hanging out with you guys and answering questions. Carrie's probably going to be right where she is, right there, probably planting some petunia seeds, if I had to guess, because we have a whole bunch of petunias we want to plant. So on Thursday, we'll be hanging out and answering your questions. We'll be on Instagram and TikTok as well, trying to go live from. So we have the software that lets us go live to like everywhere at once, and that's what we use on Tuesdays to go to YouTube and Facebook. And we're trying to be able to go to the other platforms as well. So when you see that we're live and we're in the portrait mode, that's why we're doing that. Is because we're trying to be able to go live more places at once. So we did a poll during our last one and got your feedback on what format you liked better on the live stream, and it was split right down the middle. So we decided we're going to split it right down the middle, and we'll do one this way on Tuesdays, and then the other one is going to be more of the answering your questions and then formatted to hopefully be able to reach more people on some of the other networks too. So yeah, appreciate all of you joining today. Carrie, anything else that
Yeah,
we?
thank you everybody. Yeah, thank you all so much for joining. And like Dale said, join us again on Thursday. If you can't make Thursday, we'll be here same time, same place next week.
You may have heard a lot of chicken noises coming from this stream, and that's because Carrie has chickens there right behind her, some baby
I
chickens.
do.
So if you're
Uh,
into
yep, down here.
the topic of chickens, check out our Instagram where Carrie's been showing a whole lot of stuff about how we are hatching our chicken eggs and that whole process. And yeah, so check that out as well. But we will see all of you on Thursday. I see a question Thursday at noon. Hopefully noon. We're not that one. We're gonna kind of just go live when we're gonna shoot for noon though. We're gonna shoot for that.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're hoping to be able to do some of these live streams on Thursdays from other places as well. Like we tried to do it from the Smart Pots greenhouse on Thursday, but there was a big storm that knocked out the internet, and we had troubles. So can't always predict the time when we're trying to go from other places. So we're trying to try some other stuff with those Thursday live streams. Hopefully we can do one from our garden. It's just always way too windy out there. Question
Oh yeah.
from Ashley. We do events. So we partner with the Myriad Botanical Gardens to do events with them typically every month. Don't we have one Thursday? Is
We
that this
do.
week?
I actually have one this Thursday at the Miri Gardens. We're doing a class all about pests. So maybe you can join us there.
Yeah, so if you're in Oklahoma City, come check us out. It's typically the first Thursday of every month with the Myriad Gardens. Um,
I think it's
and
the second Thursday of every month, is what it is.
And we've done events here before as well. So if you guys have interest in that, and if there's enough of y'all here that are in Oklahoma City, reach out, let us know you have interest, and we could plan something like that again. It's always fun to
Yeah.
meet you all in person and show you our gardens and stuff.
Yep, for sure. Okay. Well, we'll talk to y'all here, hopefully here in a couple days.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you all. Bye.